Please go ahead.
Yeah. In the first group, we're creating research group. The first option will be the subscription model, and the research group basically in real-time scenario, what kind of name conversion we're going to use it.
Naming conversion, the keywords you should not use like cloud, Azure, Microsoft. So these keywords you should not use.
Okay. Let us take an example. I will say that my client will be Wipro. So they wanted to be, up to date database in our Azure. So basically, which kind of name conversion like company name plus the project name and like anything else in the region scenario, how they go get the research group name.
See, that is only for your understanding purpose, right?
Yeah.
Naming you can give, you should not use the default keywords. That's it. And it should be lowercase. You cannot create the
Yeah, I think that the lowercase without space.
lowercase, and that's it. Nothing more than that. Only for your, you should know, we will keep resource group like RG. RG means resource group.
Yeah.
Underscore dev, underscore test, so that you will remember. Or if you have any project name or
Okay.
any client name, so you can use
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So that way we can remember. So we should know our resources are creating under which resource group. Because while doing deployment, when you move all these resources, when you do the deployment, that time you will select the development tag or a QA tag or a production tag. So that's why you need to mention clearly, like it's only for your remembrance. How you will remember it, that's your choice. Whether put a project name or put a client name,
Mhm.
that's up to you.
I think that will be received by documentation through architect.
Uh, the architect won't give those kinds of small things. If anything is there, while in the discussion itself, you can check with the architect. What is the, see, for coding, there are some coding standards,
Okay.
right? Camel case, and how the class name should be created, how the namespace should be created, how the variables has to be defined. So those are all predefined things. Every
Okay.
company has their own set of rules for the coding.
Okay.
So every developer has to use that coding template and do the development. But when coming to the cloud, if the organization is having any predefined template, you will use it. Otherwise, you will just tell that what should I use, like how should I use, what is the hierarchy, what is the format. Then they will tell. So accordingly, you will use that and you will create it. Clear? Did everyone join? Wait for 2 minutes.
Yeah. One more question. In the research book,
Did
so
anybody started reading that?
yeah, I read it. The some questions which you given to us, question and answer. Go through the details already, and there is one assignment which is SQL Server with assignment one like.
We haven't discussed anything about the sequel. Today I'm going to show you about that. So I just opened the, I'm sharing the screen. That only I'm explaining
SQL Server.
today. Yeah. We haven't discussed that SQL Server thing yesterday.
Today we have to create. Yesterday we are not able to create that, no sir. Today we have to create it.
Yeah, resource group. That thing I will show you today.
One more question I have got. Example, and I have created one resource group like RG. In that I created DevOps and some of DevOps or web app analytics. So I wanted to delete that total entire resource group. So is it possible, or you have to do by in the resource one by one?
Where your resources are getting stored.
Let's say one resource group.
Okay. What will happen if you delete the resource group?
Our resource will be going down.
Yes. Correct.
So can I delete entire resource group at a time? Or
Yes, you can delete it. Either you can delete resource 1 or resource 2 individually, or if you delete the resource group, it will ask you. It will tell you. It will give you a warning saying that all your resources will be deleted.
Okay.
So it will delete. All your resources will go away if you delete the resource group. Okay. So still any questions?
వీళ్ళది వాళ్ళదా
Hello. Still anyone has any questions?
గుర్తుంది.
Suspita Pasukanti means is Kiran, is a brother of Ravi.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Hari Kiran, any questions?
No.
Did you work on it?
Yeah, yesterday I have created the one which was created by you, RG1, the resource group. I have created that, and other than all the materials have been seen. But once we have read everything, question and answers and quiz.
విషయాలు ఎవరితో వెళ్ళింది అతను మన పర్సన్ కూడా అతను కంపల్సరీ
One resource group has been created by you.
మన పర్సనల్ ఉండు సార్ ఉమాకాంత్ కొంచెం మాట్లాడు.
Sorry, please go ahead.
One resource group has been created by me yesterday.
Okay.
And I will continue that whatever you do, I have created yesterday.
Okay. Fine. So no one has any questions, right? So we are starting the session now. So this course is targeted for the data engineering. So basically you need to know what are the storage options that are available in the Azure, Microsoft Azure, right? So there are some storage services and databases and let's say storage services in cloud, Azure cloud, and SQL database, MySQL, Cosmos DB, and how to move the data from the Excel or a Notepad file to the Azure SQL, right? So all these things are important. And in big data, so if you are having terabytes of data, and if you want to move those data to the cloud, so how you need to do that? What kind of service that you need to select as a data engineer? And how do you implement workflows, right? We call it as activities in the Azure Data Factory. So how to create an Azure Data Factory, how to move your SSIS packages from the on-prem to the cloud, and how do you use create an Azure Data Lake. On that, how do you create Azure Synapse services and Power BI. So all these are the options. All these are the services that Azure Data Engineer should aware of. Okay. So your job, basically Azure Data Engineer means whatever comes in terms of data, right? On-prem, take any of the technology. Take any of the technology. If it is related to the is it on-prem or a cloud, so your Azure Data Engineer help is required. Okay, so your job is to work on the data and do the analysis on the data and perform the machine learning or perform the any of the formulas on the data and generate the reports. So all these are the sequence of steps Okay. So now I am explaining you about the Azure SQL. Okay. So on the on premises, the SQL means a structured query language. On the on premises, you have one database. So the database name is SQL. But when coming to the cloud, you also have a database, the same thing, but that is called as Azure SQL. So the name Azure is added in front of the SQL. So there is a difference. Azure SQL means everybody will refer the SQL server or a SQL database which is created in the Azure portal. Okay. SQL server means that is on the on-prem. Clear? Wherever you see Azure SQL, that is a database which is created in the cloud. From the Azure portal, there are multiple ways to create the Azure SQL. Yesterday, I am explaining you about that one slide, right? So on-prem is there, IaaS is there, PaaS is there. So it will go from IaaS, from the on-prem to the IaaS side, or from the on-prem to the PaaS, or from the on-prem to the SaaS. So those are the different mechanisms, different ways to go to the cloud. Okay, so Azure SQL is nothing but which is a SQL server or a SQL database which are created in the Azure cloud, nothing but through the Azure portal. So in the Azure SQL, we have multiple options. So yesterday I shown you one diagram. So it talks about IaaS, PaaS and SaaS, right? So IaaS means it has we need to create a virtual machine, then we need to create a operating system. On top of that, we need to create a SQL server. SQL server is nothing but the SQL server means which runs on the on-prem. So that is the IaaS approach. SQL server in the IaaS means these are the steps. But if you talk about the PaaS, means platform as a service, so that is in the cloud. So you just create a server, you just create a database in through the Azure portal. That is comes under the PaaS offering, platform as a service. Okay. So in the platform as a service, we have multiple things. Three things. So one is a single database approach, and second one is a managed instance, and third one is a elastic pool. Okay. So based on the requirement, customer requirement, we will choose the different offering. Either you go with the IaaS offering or you go with the PaaS. In the PaaS, we have again three. So out of three, you need to choose one. How you will know means once you know what are these, what are the features it has, what are the benefits it has, then you will suggest the customer, okay, we need to go with the PaaS, and in the PaaS, we need to go with the managed instance, or you need to go with the elastic pool, like that. So that you have to suggest. Clear till now? Any questions? Anyone? Okay, I will consider it as no. So this is Azure SQL, right? IaaS and the PaaS. In the PaaS, it is showing as SQL database and the SQL managed instance. I will show you. Okay. So this is the IaaS. So once we try to create the IaaS, it basically ask to create the virtual machine first. So virtual machine is different. SQL virtual machine is different. Microsoft is giving you all kinds of facilities while creating your virtual machines. So virtual machine means it will have only an operating system, right? So that is the virtual machine. And Microsoft is also given you additional options like SQL virtual machine. So what it means, once you select the SQL virtual machine, that virtual machine is nothing but it's a resource. So yesterday I shown you create a resource. There, if you search with SQL virtual machine, this screen will come, and select that which virtual machine you want and click on create. It will have some steps. So SQL virtual machine will be created. So what is the difference between the normal virtual machine and the SQL virtual machine means? SQL virtual machine, once it got created, it is has the operating system installed already. SQL Server also installed already. You no need to install again the SQL again. No need to do that step. And it will give you which version of SQL you need to choose. While creating itself, it will ask you. You can able to see this screen, this image. So SQL virtual machine asking for 2019. So it is taking that. And not only that, in the each SQL, we have multiple options. Developer edition, enterprise edition, right? Community edition. So these are the different editions are available. So that you need to choose. And once you click on create, SQL virtual machine will be created. Okay, so this is the additional provision given by the Microsoft. So all this comes under the IaaS approach. Now PaaS, platform as a service. So PaaS means you need to create from the Azure portal. Even IaaS also you need to create from the Azure portal only. But the very first step is you need to create a virtual machine. On the virtual machine, you need to install your operating system, and you need to while creating the virtual machine itself, it will ask you which operating system you want to use. So based on the option that you have provided, your virtual machine will be created with that operating system. Okay. So PaaS offering of a SQL means it will give you these multiple options, right? As I mentioned, 3 different things. So one is a single database, and another is Elastic Pool, and another is a managed instance. So these 3 options will be there. So which one to use and what are these, we will see while creating itself. So these are some Azure SQL database advantages. Okay. So when you are talking about the PaaS, all these servers, all these databases or networking concepts or the system admin concepts, everything will be created under the Microsoft data centers. We are paying for that. While we are creating the service, Microsoft is charging from us. We are paying for it. So they are providing this service. So what will happen? This database or a server will be created in the database Microsoft data center. And if any patches are there, patches means any upgrades. Let's say SQL has released one upgrade. So that upgrade automatically it will come, provided if it is a PaaS offering of the SQL. So if any security patch is there, so sometimes there will be some security vulnerabilities. Some virus will come or some hacking will happen. So Microsoft will release some security patches. So the patches will automatically come in your SQL server. You no need to do any installations from your end when you are using the PaaS offering. But when you are using the IaaS approach, you have to do everything like how you are doing in the on-prem. If there is any security patch or there is any upgradations, everything you need to take care. You need to work on it. Okay, because those are not present in the data center. Your virtual machine is in the cloud. If you share your IP to the other people, they will log in with that IP, and if you share, you need to share the credentials also. So they will log in, and they will start using your SQL server. But if any patch is there or if any security thing is there, that won't come in that. So they need to explicitly do how they are doing in the on-prem world. When the before 2006, everything is on-prem. So how they are doing, like system admin will create a new patch, he will download the new patch and he will install that on the server. So that way we need to do if you are going with the IaaS approach. But coming to the PaaS, you no need to do anything. Microsoft itself will handle. Okay. So provides 99.99 SLA. SLA means a service level agreement. So for each service, whatever we are using in the Azure or in the AWS or the GCP, everyone will give this parameter SLA. Means how much is the downtime? How Microsoft is going to address this issue? How much time? And what is the accuracy? Sometimes it will be 99.95. Sometimes it is 99.99. So SQL, it is showing as 99.99, means the service what they are providing, it's very correct. 0.01 is only less. So we should trust it. We should proceed with this. Okay. So you can read the other points like SQL database shares its code base with the Microsoft SQL Server database engine. All new capabilities will first be added to the Azure SQL database and then to the SQL Server. Each database is isolated with each other. So when we're talking about the Azure SQL database, these are the advantages. So it provides you 99.99 SLA, and you don't need to do any installations, any patches from your end, because itself will be Microsoft itself will take care of that. And if there is any infrastructure things are there, so you no need to worry about it, because Microsoft will take care all this installations, everything it will be taken care. That's why this is in huge demand. So clients are moving to the cloud. Why? Because they are saving a lot of money here. Let's say if you are working on the on-prem, so if you want to buy the SQL, so you need to pay, client has to pay to the license cost to the Microsoft, because there is a product of the Microsoft. So Microsoft client has to pay some $2,000 or $3,000 per year for using that license. And in that also, one license won't be sufficient for the entire organizations. So they need to buy the multiple licenses. So they need to buy multiple times to the Microsoft to purchase that license. Okay. But here you no need to purchase any license. You just create the service Azure SQL and start using it. Patches and all those things, Microsoft will take care, and it provides a 99.99 SLA. Okay, we'll see based on the scenario which approach we need to select, so that we will see in the while we are doing the practical. And the last step mentions each database associated with each other. So once you create a SQL server in the cloud, so that is different. And again, if you create another one, so that is completely different. Like there is no relation between the first one and the second one. Okay. So that is what they're saying by the last point. Now, so for everything, whatever we see, everything will have some advantages and disadvantages. Similarly, in the past SQL database also, some are supported, some are not supported. So this could be an interview question. So what are the non-supported features of the past SQL server? So this is the interview question. So this is the answer. Okay, you cannot do linker servers. Linker servers you cannot do. On DBmail you cannot do. You cannot do any partition views. Okay, so SQL agent you don't have. SSRS reports. If you want to work with SSRS reports in the cloud, means your PaaS offering won't allow. Okay, stored procedures, cross database difference queries. Yesterday we are discussing, right? So the cross database difference queries. So that is not possible. So syntax use means it is the use, that one symbol is there, right? DB name. So that is a syntax. Use means you are informing as a developer, SQL developer, you are informing the SQL server to use the database, whatever the name that you give, you are informing the system to use that name. Okay, and there is no Windows authentication here. The pass offering, it won't allow any Windows authentication. It will allow only the SQL authentication. Do you know what is the difference between the Windows authentication and the SQL authentication? Yes, no?
It's
Okay. So when we're talking about the Windows authentication, that will be saved under your Windows, right? So it will take help of the Active Directory, and your user ID and password will be saved in your Active Directory. We are talking about the SQL authentication, that will be saved in the SQL server only. Once you know the user ID and the password, what they have given in the SQL server, so that only you should provide when you are authenticating. When means when you are logging to the server, that credentials you need to pass. Otherwise, it won't allow you to log in. And the other things like SQL debugging, it won't allow. We can do the debugging. So let's say you have written 50 lines of code in your SQL server query window, and if you want to debug it, so that is possible in the on-prem. But when coming to here, debugging is not possible. You cannot debug the inline queries which you have written in the past SQL database. It won't allow. Windows authentication, it won't allow. And Polybase, all those things are there. But try to remember at least 3 or 4 points. That should be sufficient. Here I have given you a lot of things, but no need to remember these many. Just 3 or 4 are sufficient. So these are the different plans, like basic, standard, premium. Okay. So every service will have this SLA. Okay. So once we create it in the real time, then you will know what are these plans and what are the features it has and what are the inputs we need to select while creating this, and if any dependencies, that you will know. So this is about your performance, right? So as I mentioned, there are 3 different types: basic, standard, and premium. And this is the database size, right? 2 GB and 1 terabyte and the 4 TB. And DTUs. DTUs means based on the number of DTUs, your storage and your cost will vary. Okay. Data transformation unit, DTU means. Okay. In the basic, it is allowing you maximum single database size is 2 GB, and it is allow only 5 DTUs. And database backup retention period is 7 days. Means whenever you are taking any data backups, okay, you can get only the last 7 days of data. When you're going with the standard, you can get the 35 days. When you're going with the premium, you will get the 35 days. Here the DTUs are 3000, here the DTUs are 4000. So this is less, right? So the cost will be less. So like that. So whatever services they are giving, whatever the offerings they are giving, based on that, Microsoft will charge. Okay. So here this is one of the interview question. So what are the different service tiers available in the PaaS, the SQL, in the Azure SQL? What are the different service tiers? So these are called as service tiers. So basic, standard, premium. That is your answer. And somebody will ask you when to use standard tier for the Azure SQL. So then this is the answer you need to give. Okay. So what type of applications? With low to medium input output to performance requirements. IO means input output performance requirements, and multiple concurrent queries, Okay, so this will be your answer. Basically, basic means it has very low, right? So it is for the small database. If you want to use a database which has only less size, like 2 GB, then you will go with the basic. So size factor you can tell, and retention this DTUs you can tell, and you can mention a small database and these small frequently used applications. So those parts you can tell. Okay. So any questions till now?
What is D2 is actually data transmission. We inform that basically
Your voice is very low. Could you please come near to the speaker and speak?
can you hear me now clearly?
Yeah.
Basically, D2U, what is the difference between 5 and 3000? Is the batch size or the transmission size?
5 and 3000.
Yeah.
It is in the on-prem. Okay, in the on-prem, you will have the SQL Server, right? So it has the DTUs. Similarly, in the cloud, you also have the DTU. So this DTU is nothing but based on the data. Based if the DTUs are increasing, the allocation of the data will be increasing. Allocating of the data, you can consider allocation, data allocation.
Okay.
So all these concepts are same. Whatever we are learning, whatever we are doing on the on-prem with the SQL Server. So all these are same, but we are specifically talking about the Azure SQL here. Okay.
Yeah.
So Azure SQL database. So Azure SQL Server, in that we have the databases. So one server can have multiple databases based on uh, what you choose. Like basic, you want to choose, you can do that. If you want to choose next level, you can choose that, right? So in one SQL server, you can have multiple databases. So one database can be basic, one database can be premium, one database can be standard. So you can choose whatever you, as per your requirement. So this is the steps how to connect to your database. So we'll do that. Okay, we'll do all these steps now. So what is the advantage of going to the Azure SQL when compared to the on-prem SQL? Means it will have some automated backups. So in the on-prem, you need to explicitly provide you the backup. Means one person has to do some changes to take the backup, of the data. Okay, so but whereas in PaaS offering, you no need to do that. Automatically it will be taken by the Microsoft itself. And earlier I shown you in that one of the slide, right, that days, it will allow you only up to that days. You can keep less if you want, that is allowed, but you cannot increase that. 7 days means you cannot keep 8 or 9, it won't allow. If you want to keep 5, it will allow. Means every 5 days your database will be taken a backup by the Microsoft itself. You no need to work, just you need to configure the create the resource, select the plan, and configure all the settings. That's it. Automatically everything will work, and that is the advantage of the PaaS offering. Any of the PaaS service, not only Azure SQL, any of the PaaS service will have these additional advantages. That's why we are paying more when compared to the on-prem. We are paying here more for the PaaS offering, and there are some limitations because data the server is not in our control. It is under the located in the data centers. We just know the name of the server, but the server is located in the data center. So there will be some limitations. If you want the complete control, then you no need to come to the PaaS offering. You have to go to the IaaS offering of the SQL. Okay. And if you have any jobs, SQL jobs, so PaaS offering won't support, right? So then you need to go with the IaaS offering. But there are mechanisms. If you want to, some customers will say, I want to go with the PaaS offering and I have one SSIS job. So how do you work on it? So then in that case, your Azure Data Factory will come into the picture. So in the Azure Data Factory, we have a concept called integration runtime. With the help of that, we will migrate your SSIS packages from the on-prem to the cloud. And in the cloud, the database that we can use is a PaaS offering. So this is also one of the interview question. So how do you migrate SSIS packages from the on-prem to the cloud? What are the different mechanisms that are available? So people will ask you question like this. Okay. So Azure SQL database. So first one is automated backups. So you no need to mention, like you no need to do any additional steps to take the backup. It will be automatically taken by the Microsoft itself. So they will take the backup as per the settings that has been given. See, for every service, there will be some default settings. Okay. If you want to change that, you can change it. But it will, let's say, just example, 7 days is the default setting. If you put it to 5, so instead of taking backup every 7 days, it will take backup for every 5 days. That's it. Okay, so it won't give much difference. Okay, so we have the tiers, right? We have 3 different tiers. One is the basic, standard, and the premium. So this is the point in time. So for every 7 days, your backup will come. Whatever is happening in the last 6 days, so entire thing, it will take the backup and will put it on one place. So those settings, those places, those locations, everything we will know once we create the Azure SQL database by selecting the basic tier option. Okay. And long-term backup. If you want to go with the long-term backup, they have additional facility. So they want to do the backpack file. So that way it will help you to take the long-term backup. Okay, these are the additional options it is provided for the Azure SQL in the PaaS offering. And the database replication. So we have a concept called replication, which talks about, let's say one server is down, so another server has to be up and running. So another server has to be there in the same region. So that is one. And another one is the second server has to be in the other region. So that is the other. So that comes under the replication concept. So there are multiple replication mechanisms. So I will tell you while we are creating this SQL, we will discuss about the replication. So any questions? Okay, this is the same thing. What are the benefits we have? And taking backups, everything will be done automatically. So no additional charge we need to pay. Once we pay for the service and the tier, that's it. So all these things will be taken care by the Microsoft itself. So now in the PaaS offering, we have a managed instance, right? So if you want to work with the cross database queries, so then you need to create this managed instance approach. By default means one option is the single database. So this one is the multi database. Like you can perform a cross database queries in the PaaS offering. Then you need to choose this managed instance. This we will see. So here you can see the different the managed instance deployment options create a database with nearly 100% compatibility with the latest SQL Server on-premises Enterprise Edition. Okay, so you need to know service tiers are different and database editions are different. This one is different when compared to the service tiers. So service tiers we have only three: basic, standard, premium, right? So and edition means we have a developer edition, we have a enterprise edition, and there are some other editions. So what it is saying is the managed instance. So the managed instance approach is there, right, in the past. So the managed instance deployment option creates a database with nearly 100% compatibility with the latest SQL Server on-premises. So in the on-premises, if you are having a SQL Server, okay, which is of enterprise edition, similarly, this managed instance deployment almost create 100, which is 100% compatible with that. Okay, enterprise edition, whatever it is giving on the on-prem, similarly your managed instance deployment option is also giving the same result in the cloud. Clear this statement? You're getting the subject or you having doubt? You want me to explain in a different way? Please tell me. One minute. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, any doubts, any questions on this statement? If no, then we'll proceed. Okay, guys, we are having some issue with the Zoom. There is another batch is going on, so that is having in the same timings. So there is a conflict with the timings, so we cannot continue now for our batch. So we'll that batch is usually 11 a.m. to 11 to 1. So that they have started just now. So we'll continue today in other time. So can you tell me the other time slot which is comfortable for everyone?
You only confirm, sir.
What about the others? How about 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.? Okay.
Yeah.
Or 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.?
No issue. 6 to 8 is also no issue.
6 to 8 is fine.
2 to 4.
Yeah, 2 to 4 is fine. 6 to 8 is also fine for me. You choose whatever you want.
Anytime, no problem.
We'll go for 2 to 4. That I think better.
2 to 4? Okay. Fine then. We'll connect 2 to 4 and we'll disconnect now. I will share you the recording, whatever is happened now. So please watch the recording and please read the PPTs which I am sharing and please start practicing. Otherwise, you will forget everything. This is a very huge subject, so you will forget. Okay. So please practice day-to-day basis. Yeah. Thank you all.